Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another reaction video. This is my third. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and just continue this series because I've had a lot of fun with it and you guys have too. So we're going to continue with this for a while. In fact, I have a question for you before we start. When it gets into my holiday card series near the end of October, I think it would be really fun to use the reaction series throughout the holiday card series, like reacting to old holiday card series videos and then recreating them with new product. But it wouldn't be completely brand new ideas. And so I just wanted to ask you guys, would you prefer like brand new, not even based on anything, new ideas? Or do you want me to do these reactions and just like update for new product? I think I might give you guys some good ideas on how you can use the older videos now and kind of adapt to them. So let me know what your thoughts are on that down below. Okay, so today's old video is from the year 2009. So I've watched the video once through, listened to my voiceover. I'm going to pause throughout the video and kind of give my reaction on different things. And then I'm going to recreate it. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into the actual video, this is one of my most viewed videos. I'm not entirely sure why. It's only about 3 minutes long. It's such a simple card, but it is super cute, and that might be why. And the photography of the card worked out really well too. And I remember when I made this card, I was like, this is so dang cute. I want to like make this 3 more times. So I kind of knew in my head, like, I think people are going to like this one. And you guys did.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Make a Card Monday.
Okay.
I'm going to be using these supplies shown here for this card, including this little scalloped frame that I made. It was cut out of my the Dreamweaver design.
Okay, so this little red frame that's off to the side. Okay, so in my personal history, April of 2009 was like right in the middle of when I'd just left my employment at Stampin' Up. And I had a few months where I didn't have full-time employment. I left Stampin' Up with no plan, no plan whatsoever. I was just like, well, I'm hustling. I got to do what I can. So I started selling digital cutting files and digital kits at 2 Piece in a Bucket. I was on their Garden Girl team at the time, and they were like, sure, yes, we will sell the kits. So I was selling my digital files at 2 Piece in a Bucket. This little frame that I cut out was one that I sold. And yeah, I just hustled. And then I think maybe end of April, maybe into May, that was when I was hired at Basic Grey. And I think, now that I think about it, this actually might have been, I had been hired, but I hadn't started yet because I'm going to use some Basic Grey chipboard stickers in this video, on this card. And I think I had interviewed at the Basic Grey office and they gave me those when I left. Like I went through the warehouse and they gave me some products, and this was one of the ones that they gave me. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, but that's a good walk down memory lane. 2 Piece in a Bucket closed a number of years ago. Basic Grey shut down as well. Yeah, so that's, well, it was 11 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Shapes circle set. I think it's only in the larger card shapes digital kit that you can buy. And I just sized it accordingly so that it would fit over top of this wood grain stamp. And you'll see what I mean in a minute.
Okay, this wood grain stamp, I have to pause again. This wood grain stamp from Hero Arts, I doubt they still sell it, but it was one of my most favorite wood stamps. I loved the crap out of this. I think I used it quite a few times to the point where I was like, you can't use this in videos anymore. You used it way too many times. So I used it a lot. And I also used this color combination. I'm going to talk about it in the video too. But this is Colorbox Chalk Ink and Chestnut Roan. And that ink with the craft cardstock is just luscious. And I still love it. It's this tone-on-tone effect. I use that color combination a lot in my videos around this time.
Using some craft ink, or not craft ink, but craft cardstock with this chestnut chalk ink. And I really like the pairing of it with this wood grain stamp because it's sort of, oh, I don't know, the 2 browns make it look like even like it's more purposeful wood. I guess I don't know what to call it. So That's what I did. And then see that frame fits right on top. What I did was I just measured the stamp and made sure that the opening in the center was smaller than the diameter of the stamp. That's what I did. And then cut out the shape in some American Crafts cardstock. So I just punched some holes or pierced some holes with a paper piercer.
Oh, there was my favorite white gel pen of the time. This is deep into the days of the dash lines and the faux stitching. This one was actually even more like substantial faux stitching because I took the time to do all the paper piercing, putting all those little holes in the paper and then connecting them with a white gel pen. It looked even more like faux stitching, even, more than just a dash line. But this is the Uniball Signal Broad gel pen, which is actually still a very good gel pen. But over the last couple of years, I've transitioned over to a Jelly Roll Bold pen, which I find even easier to use. It doesn't get gummed up quite as much, and I really, really love it. Word of caution on that, though. Make sure you get the Jelly Roll size 10 Bold. The size 8 or the size 5 are too small, and I find that they skip and they're not as consistent. But the size 10 Jelly Rolls, chef's kiss. Let's keep going.
And I'm going over it with a white gel pen. That technique is called faux stitching. And I just wanted a delicate stitch line just to draw attention to the center of that shape. And here's some pattern paper for making memories. It's from their Just Chillin'.
Okay, what I'm going to do here in this part here is I'm corner rounding the front of the card and then also the back of the card. And then I'm going to put that pattern paper on the bottom or corner around this and then put it on top. And then the video I talk about how I hope my pattern paper was the same size as the card. Now this tells me a couple things. The first thing is that I didn't have a corner chomper at this point. I'm not sure when the corner chomper came out, but I assume it was after this, because if I had a corner chomper, I would have just put that pattern paper on and then chomped all 3 layers all at the same time. So that's what it tells me. I guess it really only told me one thing. But this ribbon. Okay, it's from Paper Tray. This is their Aqua Mist ribbon, and it matches the Aqua Mist cardstock I used for the card base. And this ribbon, I remember I only ordered a few things from Paper Tray because at the time, Paper Tray was only offered through their website. And it was hard to link to it, whatever. And I was working for 2P, so I had to link to them. Anyway, I only ordered a few things from them. And this ribbon was one of them because the color, I loved it so much. And here are those chipboard letters from Basic Gray that I mentioned earlier. So putting those on, and then I'm using some glue dots to adhere the chipboard panel, the chipboard letter circle to the card. And I say in the video I did that because it was kind of bumpy. I couldn't use a tape runner on the back. But I also think it was smart because it sort of straddled that ribbon. And yeah, so it worked out. And I put some dimensional adhesive on the back of the frame and then put it directly onto my little word area. So like I mentioned, this is one of my most viewed videos from that time period. It's a very simple card. I get why. It's cute. So we're going to try recreating it. This was also a time when I would do the supplies, the rolling supplies going across the screen like credits. You guys remember that? I wouldn't put the supplies in the video description. I would just put it at the end of the video. Anyway, super fun. So, okay, I have a few thoughts on how I might recreate this card. I think I really want to make my own chipboard letters by die cutting a bunch of letters and stacking them up so they're nice and substantial. I think that could work really well. I like the aspect of having a frame with a pattern behind it. It almost could be a shaker card. Do I want to make a shaker card? I might make it a shaker card. Anyway, let's get into it.
I'm starting out by sketching my card idea. So like the original card, I'm going to have a main element with some letters on it. So I decided to switch it up and use a rectangle. And I've already picked out the dies that I'm going to be using to make that frame. So I'm kind of sketching it like the dies look. I'm going to have some pattern paper on the bottom half with a white band of cardstock above instead of ribbon. As we determined last week, I don't have very much ribbon in my stash anymore. I'm going to use some die cut letters and stack them up to create my own sort of faux chipboard letters. And then I'm going to have a stamped pattern behind that frame. So here are some of the items I'm going to be using. For the frame, I'm using the ACT layers or Artist Trading Card Layers dies from Waffle Flower, putting 2 of those together to make the frame. And at first, I thought I was going to use these 2 alphabet dies from Poppy, the poetic lowercase and poetic uppercase, but you'll see here in a minute that I change it up and use a different one. And then I'm also going to be using this pattern paper from Die Cuts with a View, and then the stripe jumble background from Simon. So I switched up the letters and changed it to the Archie Junior Solid die set from Simon Says Stamp. These are a little bigger, they're easier to handle. I did try die cutting out those little tiny ones, and they were so hard to work with. I mean, you would, okay, so if you were going to put them just straight on a project without stacking them, I think I would deal with it being a little bit finicky, but having to stack all of those letters, it was, seriously, I tried. I think I worked on it for about an hour and then I gave up and I'm like, no way. So then I went with the Archie ones and I did stack those up and glued 4 layers together. So for the frame, I put these 2 dies together, taped them down so I could run them through my die cutting machine, and then I'm left with this very dainty white frame. So dainty that you'll see at the end when I assemble it that you almost can't use any foam adhesive behind it. I'm using some blue painter's tape and I'm rolling that up and I'm going to tape this cardstock here. This is some mushroom cardstock from Concord and Ninth. And I use that large rectangle die from the frame, that same outer rectangle. I use that to cut the gray cardstock. And I'm just adhering that into the middle of my MISTI, taking out the foam so that I can use this cling foam stamp. And I just needed that extra space in there. So I'm inking up the stamp with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm doing a tone-on-tone effect similar to that original card. That one was with browns. This one is with grays and blacks. And having a tone-on-tone pattern just helps the white letters stand out on top. So that's why I've chosen to use a dark gray with black stamping. If I had anything else that was a little bit more busy, it would be hard to read the letters that I'm going to be adhering on top. So this is kind of more of a muted background, but it still packs a punch. It still has, has a statement because there are those bold stripes. So I'm using some very thin foam Darice strips to put some adhesive on the back of this frame. And it even peeks out in a couple spots, but not a huge deal. I adhered it directly down onto that stamped piece, and some of the paper was kind of peeking out. Since this is such a dainty frame, it was hard to get on there just perfect. So I did take my scissors and run along the edge just to try to get rid of any of the paper underneath peeking out. So there I have my frame. I'm placing my letters inside, and once again, these letters are 4 stacked die cuts altogether, so they're pretty substantial. They mimic those cardboard or chipboard letters very well. After I had the MISTI one here, I decided I wanted to add a heart at the bottom, so I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Mini Hearts Party die, and I already had a bunch of these cut out in red. It was perfect. I didn't even have to cut them today. And I had enough that I was able to stack them as well. So I have 4 layers of the hearts that I'm going to put together so that they can all be on there and be the same height as the letters. Nice substantial heart going there right at the bottom. So now I'm going to pick out some of the pattern paper from that stack. This is the Brights stack, and it has these foil polka dots on them. And I've cut it down to be the right width for my card base. And this card base is actually Peacock cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I'm going to put this down here at the very bottom. And then I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and I'm going to adhere it right above that pattern paper, just to give it that look of having ribbon, but not. And then I added a dash line going across just because I wanted to bring that in, since I did use that on the original card and I thought it would look nice going across the center here. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that Miss You piece on top, but at this point, I went on a 30-minute search of my house looking for my corner chomper. I could not find it anywhere. I think I'm going to have to repurchase it because I can't find it. I must have given it away or it's lost in a box somewhere, but I really wanted to corner chomp those bottom corners like the original card, but I couldn't find it. So for a little bit of shine on that heart, I put some glossy accents from Ranger. And it's going to look a little cloudy right now, but you'll see in the final photos that it dries very clear and glossy. It's really beautiful. I love doing that on little accents like hearts. So this is the finished card for today. I love the shine from the foil on the pattern paper and the glossiness of that heart. So here's the original card with my new interpretation. You can definitely see some similarities, the polka dot pattern paper, the tone-on-tone background behind the letters, and that scalloped frame. Just reinterpreted a little bit differently. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll be back next week with some more card videos. If you have not signed up for Crocheting on Cardstock, you still have time. Class starts on Monday. Or even if you're hearing this after the fact, you can still sign up for class and catch up. Thanks so much for watching today. I will see you guys in another video very soon.